37. Pampered. Lavanya's POV. It had been an exhausting day for all of us. After finishing work, we finally returned home. As soon as I arrived, I called Daddy to share the news about my promotion. "Hello, Betta," Daddy greeted as soon as he answered my call. "Hello, Daddy," I responded cheerfully. "Have you reached home?" "Yes, just now. How is Mama?" "She's fine, dear. She's in Grandma's room. And you? How are you feeling today?" "I'm feeling fine, Daddy." Thanks to your boss for taking care of you." His words made my smile falter. "Daddy, did you know multiple employees were promoted today? I was one of them." "Really?" "Yes, Daddy. Mr. Dawson promoted Ruhi to assistant manager in the marketing department, and I've been made the secretary to the CEO. "What?" He sounded surprised. "Yeah," I murmured. "Well, that's wonderful news. My daughter is now the CEO's secretary." "Good news?" "I am not so sure." "I don't know, Daddy. Our boss is leaving for his country in a couple of days, and before that, he decided to give promotions." "He does seem like a good person. He looked after you when you were unwell, and now he's given his employees this surprise before leaving. Very generous. We'll come over tomorrow. I want to meet him personally and thank him," Daddy said with determination. "Dada," I called out sweetly. "Yes, darling? Can we invite him for lunch? He really enjoys Indian food and misses home-cooked meals. Once, I shared some paratha from my lunchbox, and he absolutely loved it. I'd love for him to taste Mama's cooking before he leaves India. He's a guest in our country, so I thought this would be a nice way to thank him and say goodbye," I suggested. "That's a lovely idea, Betta. I'm so proud of you. But let us come first. By the way, when is he leaving?" "This Wednesday." "Oh," he paused. "All right. Today is Monday. We're coming tomorrow, so we can invite him for dinner then." "No, Daddy. There's no need to rush. His flight is in the evening. We can invite him for lunch that day instead," I proposed. "So, there's no office on Wednesday?" he asked. "Oh, I hadn't thought of that." I hesitated, considering the situation. Let me speak to him first and figure it out." "Yes, that would be better." "Yeah, I suppose so." "All right, your mama's calling me. Bye, see you tomorrow." "See you, Daddy. Good night." "Good night." Daddy hung up. I headed to the kitchen to prepare dinner for myself. And as I ate, my mind kept drifting back to the day's events, particularly Mr. Dawson's sudden decision to promote us. The next morning, my parents arrived early, and I greeted them with an excited hug. They filled me in on everything that had happened in Noida, knowing I had missed it. "All the relatives were asking about you, Lavanya. You shouldn't have left so suddenly," Mama scolded, shaking her head in disapproval. "I'm sorry, Mama, but my boss—" "Oh, your boss, where is he? I want to see him and thank him," Daddy interrupted. "Now?" I stared at him, wide-eyed, then glanced at the clock. "It's only 7:15 a.m. "Yes, why not? But did you ask him about the timing?" "No, I'll ask him at the office," I replied. "Forget it. I'll go ask him myself. Which one is his apartment?" Daddy stood up, getting ready to leave. He might be sleeping right now, Dad." "Really?" He looked amused. My inner voice chimed in. "Your father is wondering how you know so much about Mr. Dawson's schedule." "Yeah, I guess so." I hesitated, trying to come up with a reasonable explanation. "Oh, I think she's right. Bachelors these days sleep as if they never want to wake up," Mama commented while unpacking her handbag. "So what? We'll wake him up?" Daddy chuckled and winked at me, making me gasp. "Let me take a shower and then I'll go see him." "Oh no. Are you sure, Daddy?" I tried every trick to stop him, but nothing worked. "Yes, just tell me where his apartment is." Daddy grinned proudly. God help Mr. Dawson. After a brief pause, I finally answered. It's the duplex in front of our building. Oh, yes. He did mention that. He's our neighbor. Perfect. I'll be back in 10 minutes. With that, Daddy went to his room. About 20 minutes later, while Mama and I were discussing the dishes we'd prepare for this special invitation, Daddy returned. All right, I'm going to Dawson's. Lunch is set for 11 a.m. tomorrow, right? He asked Mama to confirm, and she nodded with a smile. Then, without another word, he left.
Jackie's POV. You know, I was really nervous thinking you'd never accept my offer, I admitted, looking at her. She blushed and quickly hid her face behind the menu card. I chuckled at her adorable reaction. We were seated across from each other in a fine dining restaurant in San Francisco, the soft glow of candlelight enhancing the atmosphere. Stop hiding your face and say something, please. I'm dying to hear your voice, I pleaded. She peeked out slightly from behind the menu card and murmured, still keeping most of her face hidden, "Don't use such words, please." "What words?" I asked, confused. "Dying and all." She replied softly, and I smiled. Taking a deep breath, I allowed the moment to settle in my mind. She looked stunning in that dress. Scarlet red, my favorite color. It was the first time I had seen her in anything other than her usual Indian attire, and she looked like a doll. "You look beautiful in that dress," I complimented sincerely. "Thanks to you. Your color choices are extraordinary," she replied, finally lowering the menu card onto the table. I smirked, finally able to see her full face, and let out a small, contented sigh. "What would you like to eat, Miss Lavanya?" I asked gently. "Well, your choice. I don't know what people typically eat here in America, so it's your turn to choose for me." She smiled, and I raised both eyebrows in amusement, making her giggle. Leaning in slightly, I whispered playfully, "Tonight you're going to be my dinner." The moment the words left my mouth, I regretted them, wondering how she would react. Her cheeks flushed a deep red. "And you're going to be mine," she whispered back, catching me completely off guard. "What?" I blinked at her, shaking my head in disbelief. "Yes," she replied, her voice laced with mischief. "This is our first date. I thought you'd want to get to know me better," I said, feeling both amused and bewildered. "I know everything about you," she said, leaning forward and resting her forearms on the table, crossing them. "You have changed," I murmured, swallowing nervously. "Well, in India we have social restrictions, but not here, do we?" She smirked, making me gulp again. You sound different tonight. I wasn't I began, but she leaned in even closer. Her red lipstick was utterly distracting, stirring something deep inside me. I fought the overwhelming urge to capture her lips in a breathless kiss. Just once. Just this time, I thought, convincing myself. Slowly, I leaned towards her, closing the gap between us. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. "Lavanya!" My own voice echoed off the walls, and my eyes flew open. Staring at the ceiling, I realized she wasn't there. For a few moments, I felt completely lost, missing her presence so intensely that it hurt. Then it hit me. I had been dreaming about her. A date with me? Sounds amazing. A smile crept onto my face as I recalled her in that scarlet dress. "Ding dong! Jamal!" I groaned, rolling my eyes. The doorbell rang again. I forced myself out of bed and rushed downstairs, still half asleep. Yawning, I opened the door. "Jamal, you really need to get a duplicate key. I can't really—" I stopped mid-sentence. It wasn't Jamal. Standing before me was a man I vaguely recognized, though my sluggish brain couldn't quite place him. He smiled warmly while I stared at him, confused. Yeah?" I mumbled, rubbing my eyes. "How can I help you?" "You already did," he said with a grateful smile, making me frown. "What?" I glanced around, half expecting someone else to be with him. "I'm sorry, but I don't, You are?" "Lalit Verma, Lavanya's father." In a blink, my expression shifted from confusion to surprise. "Oh, I'm sorry. Please come in, Mr. Verma." I quickly stepped aside, inviting him in. "Thank you, Mr. Dawson." He entered. "What's he doing here?" Did something happen? Did Lavanya complain about me? My mind raced with worst-case scenarios as I tried to figure out why he had come unannounced. Sorry to disturb you so early, Mr. Dawson. Lavanya told me not to come at this hour. I suppose she was right. You were sleeping, he said apologetically. Oh, no. I just overslept, I reassured him quickly. Please make yourself comfortable. I gestured towards the couch, and he nodded with a smile before sitting down. Would you like something to drink? I offered politely. No, I don't drink at all, he replied. Did he just think I meant alcohol? I meant juice. It's still morning, I clarified. Oh, he chuckled. Thanks, but no, I'm fine. He paused for a moment before adding, I didn't realize there were specific timings for alcohol. I'm a teetotaler, you see. Sorry about that. I exhaled, relieved that he wasn't judging me for something I didn't even say. Actually, I came here to meet the man who took care of my daughter. I just wanted to say thank you. That's really not necessary. I didn't mind taking care of Lavanya at all, I replied humbly. Yes, but still we Indians won't let you go anywhere without properly thanking you, he said with a knowing smile. I blinked in confusion. What exactly are they planning to do with me now? I didn't get it. I blinked rapidly. He chuckled again and replied, Don't worry, we won't make you do anything you haven't done before. Actually, we just got back today and Lavanya told us you're leaving tomorrow evening. Yeah, my flight is at 10:30 p.m., I replied. Yes, so we were thinking, why don't you join us for lunch tomorrow? That is, if it fits into your schedule, since I know you're a very busy man, he asked, catching me by surprise. After a moment, I responded, That's very kind of you. I would love to come. That's great. Oh, and yes, Lavanya has requested the day off from the office. She needs to help her mother with the preparations. Preparations? Yes, it's going to be a feast for you. After all, it's your last day in India, he said, and I suddenly felt guilty for lying to Lavanya about leaving India forever. Oh, yeah, sure, but please don't make it a big affair. Just keep it simple. An Indian lunch for a guest and simple? Ha, that doesn't go together at all. I promise you'll enjoy it. My lovely wife is an excellent cook, and Lavanya already told me you love Indian food, he said in a whisper, making me smile. Such a charming man. Is this the same person who was warning me over the phone? Mr. Verma, you're so different in person. After our phone conversation the other day, I thought you were a very strict father, I admitted honestly. I am, he declared, feigning pride. I'm very strict, but for Lavanya I can be anything and everything. She is my life, and since you took care of my life, I owe you this, he added in a softer tone. Please, it was the least I could do. She's a wonderful girl. Employee. Control your tongue, Dawson, my inner voice warned. Oh, yes? I heard you promoted her and a few other employees, he said. Yeah, I did. They truly deserve it. They're excellent at their jobs. I'm very happy for Lavanya. She always makes me proud, he said, his expression turning nostalgic. Then, standing up, he continued. All right, lunch tomorrow at 11 a.m. at our apartment. Sure. I nodded with a smile. We shook hands and he left.
Lavanya's POV. I walked to my department floor, only to find a guy sitting in my chair in my cabin. I was about to ask him what he was doing there when my eyes landed on Ruhi's cabin, occupied by a new girl. That's when it hit me. I don't belong here anymore. You're now the secretary to the CEO, and Ruhi is the assistant to the manager in the advertising department. My inner voice reminded me. How could I forget about yesterday? I sighed and lightly smacked my forehead for my forgetfulness. I started looking for Ruhi, but she was nowhere to be found in the department. So, I headed to Balram sir's office instead. May I come in, sir? I asked after knocking. Bihina, come in. He greeted me warmly. Sir, I came to ask you something. Actually, I don't know where my new desk is. Oh, actually, I have no idea either. I completely forgot to ask Dawson, sir, he admitted. All right, come with me, he added, standing up. I followed him out of the office. Balram Sir knocked on Mr. Dawson's office door, where CEO was written in bold letters. For some reason, seeing that made me even more nervous, and I swallowed hard, twice. "Yeah, come in," Mr. Dawson's authoritative voice called from inside. Oh, we entered, but his attention remained fixed on his phone. "Sir," Balram Sir attempted to get his attention. "Yes, Balram," he responded without looking up. "So, your secretary is here," Balram Sir announced, prompting Mr. Dawson to finally lift his head and look at us. After a brief, awkward silence, he spoke. "Oh, Miss Lavanya, welcome." Thank you, sir," I replied. "Your FA." He started to say something but stopped abruptly when his gaze shifted to Balram Sir, who was watching him curiously. Changing his words, he said, "Oh, Balram, you can leave now." "Yes, sir, but Miss Lavanya came to find out about her new workspace," Balram Sir explained. "I know," Mr. Dawson replied with a smirk, and I frowned in confusion. "Don't worry, she's my responsibility now. Anything else I can help you with?" His cold tone made it clear he wanted Balram Sir to leave immediately. I pressed my lips together. Rude American monster. No, sir, nothing. I was just leaving." Balram Sir gave me a bright grin and a best of luck look before walking out. I mouthed a silent thank you with a smile. "Come forward, Miss Lavanya," Mr. Dawson ordered as soon as our eyes met. After a few seconds of awkward silence, I obeyed and walked towards his desk. As I moved, my eyes landed on a set of floor-length curtains on the right side of the room. That was the first time I had noticed them. I couldn't remember seeing them during my last visit. Curiosity tugged at me, but I held back from asking. I stopped just in front of his desk, feeling his intimidating cyan blue eyes studying me. Unable to hold his gaze, I lowered my head. "Congratulations on your promotion, love," he said in a husky, romantic tone. I looked up at him, startled. "Again with love?" "Dear, thank you, sir," I responded formally. I didn't know where to go, so I asked Balram Sir and he brought me here," I babbled, feeling flustered. He simply smiled, watching me intently. "Don't worry about that, I know. I'll take you to your desk myself," he assured me. "By the way, Mr. Verma came today to invite me for lunch tomorrow," he added casually. "Yeah, I'm sorry about that. He was really eager to thank you for... I struggled to form a proper sentence. "For looking after you all night," he finished for me. I bit my lower lip, trying to suppress the blush creeping up my cheeks. He sighed and continued. "I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm sure you're going to miss me." I desperately looked everywhere but at him, which only made him chuckle. "Come with me," he said suddenly. My eyes widened in shock, and I gasped. "What? How can I go with him? I can't leave India." He stood up, walked slowly towards me, then stopped beside me, raising an eyebrow as he smirked knowingly. Chuckling again, he leaned in and whispered, "I meant to your new workplace." Oh! I felt like a complete fool for thinking otherwise, and the worst part was, he knew exactly what had crossed my mind. I couldn't bring myself to meet his eyes. God, this is so embarrassing. I was still standing there like a schoolgirl when he suddenly grabbed my wrist and led me forward. We stepped out of his office, turned left, and stopped in front of another door, which was quite close to his own. He turned the knob and pushed it open with his left hand. Pulling me a little closer, he gave a slight nod, signaling me to step inside. "Hey, your new office," he announced. I blinked at him in surprise. "I have my own personal office now?" Wow! Excitement bubbled inside me as I walked past him into the room, and he finally let go of my wrist. The office looked fresh and untouched, as if it had never been used before. The strong scent of fresh paint still lingered in the air, and the pristine desk showed no signs of previous use. I was taken aback by how minimalistic yet elegant the room's decor was. As I looked around, I noticed that the left wall was made entirely of a single mirror, giving the space a modern and sophisticated touch. My eyes landed on Mr. Dawson's reflection in the mirror. He was leaning against the closed door, watching me with a satisfied smile. This office is beautiful. I never even noticed there was a room here. That's because you were always too busy looking at me, he smirked mischievously. I immediately averted my gaze. Stop blushing, stupid, my conscience scolded. I can't help it. He keeps saying things that make me blush. He chuckled and continued. There wasn't a room here before. I had it built. I turned to him, surprised. That's your chair. He pointed towards the sleek chair behind the desk. Make yourself comfortable in your new position, Miss Secretary, he teased. I walked behind the desk and took my seat. Just as I settled in, my eyes fell on a photo frame carefully placed on the desk. My breath hitched. It was exactly like the photo of my parents that I had lost a few days ago. Although this one was larger and framed beautifully, I recognized it instantly. My hands trembled slightly as I picked it up and examined it closely. Yes, it was the same photo I had been searching for. This photograph? You lost it, he stated, cutting me off. I looked up at him in shock. Yes, but how? Is it here? He finished my sentence. I nodded curiously. Maybe you never lost it. Maybe someone took it, he said, giving me a thoughtful look. Who? I asked eagerly, glancing back at the frame. He sighed. This is your first day as my secretary, Miss Lavanya. I hope you'll continue working as hard as you always have. He deliberately ignored my question. Did he take it? Sir, did you? I tried to ask. Good luck, Miss Lavanya, he said, opening the door and flashing me a smirk. See ya. And just like that, he was gone, without answering my question. Then, suddenly, I remembered the day he came to my cabin. I had dropped the frame and he had picked it up, but I never noticed him taking the photo. When did he take it? Whatever. That wasn't important. What mattered was that he had done this for me. I never imagined that the American monster could be so thoughtful and caring. Never in my wildest dreams did I think he would go out of his way to decorate my desk with such a meaningful gift. A smile crept onto my lips. How sweet! Then suddenly, the phone on my desk rang, making me jump. I instinctively placed my right hand over my heart to steady myself. Dawson's office, how may I help you? I greeted after answering the call. Did you like your office? His voice came through the receiver. I paused before replying. Yes, sir. It's more than perfect. And the photo frame, did you? I glanced down at the frame, still held in my left hand. I heard him sigh. Yes. I smiled again. Thank you so much, sir. But how, when, and why? Stop smiling now, love, and get back to work. I've sent you a few email drafts. Check for any mistakes and send me the final copies, he ordered. My smile vanished instantly. I straightened in my seat, suddenly more alert, and before I could say anything else, he hung up. Lavanya, you are now the CEO's secretary. Your work will be harder now. Focus, my conscience reminded me.
Jackie's POV. After showing her the office, I noticed that the smile never left her lips. Knowing that she liked it felt oddly satisfying. Ignoring her question, I returned to my office. As soon as I entered, I used the remote to open the curtains and sat down on one of the couches, facing the view behind them. Yes, this is exactly what I had envisioned. What Lavanya didn't know was that the mirror wall in her office wasn't actually a mirror. It was a one-way glass separating our rooms. From her side, it appeared as an ordinary mirror, but from my suite, it was completely transparent. I can now see her anytime I want. She was still staring at the photo frame, lost in thought, and I let out a deep sigh, as if I had just regained something precious. I picked up the phone and dialed her office's landline number. Let's tease her a little. She answered, D. Dawson's office. How may I help you? I smirked. Already settling into her new role, huh? Did you like your office? I asked in a soft tone, hoping she'd feel comfortable enough to be honest. Yes, sir. It's more than perfect. And the photo frame, did you... She sounded curious. Yes, I exhaled deeply, finally giving her the truth. After a brief moment, she responded, Thank you so much, sir, but how, when, and why? Her voice carried a smile, and I could tell she was blushing. Blushing, Stop smiling now, love, and get back to work. I've sent you a few email drafts. Check for any mistakes and send me the final copy, I said, switching to my usual bossy tone, just to see her reaction. As expected, she immediately stopped smiling and straightened up. Amused, I hung up and continued watching her, like I was watching my favorite movie. Now I can watch her all day.
Lavanya's POV. My cabin is really nice, I told Ruhi as we sat around a table. What about yours? I'm living my best life. That American boss isn't so bad, huh? She replied, making me smile. And manipulative too, Virat sir remarked as he joined our table. Oh, come on, sir. Give him a break and enjoy the luxury, Ruhi said playfully. He's leaving soon anyway. Whatever, Virat sir muttered, rolling his eyes. Then he turned to me. By the way, Lavanya, I was thinking of taking you out next Saturday. Oh, a date? Ruhi teased, making me blush. So? Virat sir asked, smiling while subtly hiding his own blush. Sure, I'll let you know after asking my parents, I replied, and he nodded with a smile. Your parents are home? Ruhi asked. I nodded, still smiling as I took a bite from my lunch.